Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This video is going to be the unboxing and my first impressions on the CZ75B Omega. This was recently discontinued in 2023. These are a unique model because the internals have been changed to be simplified, and there's a lot of obvious parts differences when you first get it in your hand. First thing I noticed is the SPO1 slide lever stop here, the magazine release, the rubber grips. The grips on the 75B are plastic. The ones on the SPO1 are rubber. These are the rubber ones. The beavertail, when I first got it in my hand, I was like, man, this feels kind of funny. And then when I compared it to my 75B and the SPO1, well, this is essentially the SPO1 lower with some of the parts. This is the SPO1 mag release, the SPO1 grips, the SPO1 slide lever stop. This hammer is a competition style hammer, I believe. This isn't the standard one that comes on the 75 series. These sights are either night sights or luminescent sights. They glow in the dark pretty well. I'm not sure which they are. The description on the CZ website isn't that good. Comes with two 16-round magazines. That's standard fare. These are the same for the 75B. This has the decocker installed, but you can switch it to the manual safety. That's another thing with the Omega, is the trigger system has been simplified. When you see when I take it apart, the trigger system here is different and the sear cage is different. The trigger itself is, I would say, thinner, and it's a different angle here. And the pin here is actually a solid pin. Even in the Shadow series, the Shadow 1, the Shadow 2, it's a hollow pin. This is a solid pin, but I do think it's plastic. I don't think it's metal. But still, this is kind of like a hybrid between the 75B and the SPO1 parts-wise, with way better sights. These sights are amazing. The dots jump right out at you. I don't have anything with a decocker, so I don't have any experience with that, but it is fun to play with, for sure. Now on one side, it definitely has greater spring tension than the other. So on this side here, the spring tension where it flips back at you is much greater than if you're a left-handed operator. So left-handed, I could do this all day, no big deal, and it's not very much force coming back, but for some reason it seems like the force back on this side is greater. Now when you see the top of the slide taken apart, I've already taken it apart and look at it, there's a spring over here. Now where the safety slash decocker, whichever you have in, it goes through it, and usually there's a spring you have to lift up out of the way to pull the safeties out. Well, they completely redesigned this, and so you're supposed to be able to take it apart and reassemble it more easy, but at the same time I could do it beforehand, so we'll see. Now I have to figure it out for this one. So obviously the grip's got to come off, and then the spring's got to come out, and take the slide off, and so on and so forth. But it doesn't look too difficult. They put the safety in there. So all in all, it feels really comfortable because it's the SPO1 grip angle here, but it's still 75B cut. This one did feel a little bit different too in the weight. I was like feeling it, like I thought it was bigger. It's not bigger, but there's 1.2 ounces of more weight somewhere on here other than the 75B. So the feel in it in the hand is SPO1, but when you look at it, you see the cuts, everything is 75B. So it's kind of an interesting model. Now the trigger on this thing is super nice right out of the box. So let's just start with single action, because double action, I don't really have much of a gauge for how heavy it is because the gauge only goes to like 8 pounds. So has a little bit of take up like normal. Then when you get to the wall, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Boom. I would say like 4.5 pounds, just guesstimating. Reset's pretty short. But you can definitely smoothly pull through the trigger. So I would say that it has a little less tension than the original 75 series. The double action trigger pull, I would say, is even lighter than the original 75 series. probably like 8.5 pounds, 9, somewhere in there. I don't know what it is right out of the factory box, but my gauge only goes to like 8, so I could never actually measure it. But I know that it is pretty heavy, and I don't usually use double action, but I'm usually having the manual safety. So with the decocker, it's easy to do because you can just decock it after each one and then it'll fire in double action, so you can practice double action. But I got this because I planned on switching to the manual safety, and because this is a discontinued model, I figured snatch one up while you still can, and I'm glad I did because the feel in the hands is amazing, and I'm looking forward to shooting it. I just wish it came with 19 round magazines instead of the 16 rounders, but they get the job done and they fit flush in there just like the 75B ones. So all in all, I think it was a good purchase, especially for the price, under $600. So this is a quality pistol, and I think it's going to be dead on accurate. Looking forward to getting some rounds through it. Stay tuned for the follow-up video.